Well, welcome everyone to the ET Forum this spring. I want to make sure that everybody who just came in knows that we need to have you in the bottom center of the screen here. There's a chat box. Please put your name and organization and any updates to your contact information so Daniele can capture that for anything we need to send out, especially if you want get copies of your of the PowerPoints and such like that. It'll also be on the FLATE website as well. So be sure there. This is one of two. We'll have another one next week. Some of y'all will not be here next week because you may be on spring break. And like I'm on spring break this week, but I'll be at both this time. So everybody should be able to get to the chat box at the bottom center of your window and put in your information. I'm going to turn it over to Marilyn for some announcements.
Okay, you actually took care of most of those. I just want to kind of review where am I? I'm on the wrong slide. You guys, sorry, this just looks like next week. Hang on.
Oh yeah. I just saw that now that you said it.
All right. Well, I put it on the last slide of let me stop sharing that guy. Keep talking, Lori.
Okay, no problem. So I'm hoping all of you who had spring break this week had a wonderful time. I notice up here in Ocala area, it's pretty cool this morning. I'm outside on my back porch doing this just to keep the noise down. And it's kind of cool outside. I was a little surprised.
We had a big storm here.
Yeah. Had a little bit of rain here. Oh my gosh, Brad showed up. Look out, everyone.
Yeah.
Look out.
Hey, Brad.
Good morning, Brad.
Morning.
Don't listen to those guys harassing you, by the way.
Yeah. Again, if you just come in, bottom center of your screen, there's a chat button down the bottom. Please click on it and type in your name and organization and any updates to your contact information. So we're able to send you things like slides and all that. Also be out on the FLATE website as well.
Okay, so I just want to quickly review.
Oh.
You there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Review the agenda. We're going to start this time. Keep you guessing the college updates. First thing, so you're going to talk about your enrollments and any enrollment updates, and put any new equipment or space if you've got a new lab. That's always cool. And any new programs like a course or module or special edition or whatever. Tell us that. So we got to be quick. So don't belabor. Just get your updates ready. And Sam will take us around the week of colleges. And we're going to have our updates both from Bob Levins and then a special guest from the DOE, Catherine Wheeler, who's going to do the presentation on the CAPE certifications. We asked about this last time and everyone was interested to hear kind of from the horse's mouth and be able to ask questions. So that's coming up. And then it's kind of time. There's been a couple of questions around about the MSSC articulation to the ET degree. So Laura from St. Pete and Lori from Polk State are gonna just lead a conversation about that. Some of you will remember, and many of you were not here, but a number of years ago, well, we first did it, and colleges to adopt that articulation for 15 credits back in 2008. And then we reviewed it and had a vote by college, about 11 or 12. Anyway, some issues have come up at different colleges now, so we're going to go around that loop, kind of somewhat in preparation for our framework review, which will be in 2022. So we have some talk about, start a discussion about that. That will be ongoing conversation during the summer months, I'm sure. And then Nasser's come back to talk to us about, tell us about the Council for Workforce Education and the kind of work that they're doing to support CTE programs across the state. So that'll be, it's a great opportunity for us to interact with the powers to be at the state level. So I'm excited for him to share that information. And our friends from USF and the Path Tech grant are going to give us some updates on the a little bit on their student interviews, but also a new program they're launching called Hire a Grad. That's kind of an outreach to industry. And then we'll close it up for today. Okay. So,
All right, so let's
go.
go ahead and get started with the updates. Again, if you just came on, please go in down the center. There's a button down there for chat. Put your name and your organization in, and be sure we capture that for attendance today, plus any information we may need to send out to you. All right.
Hey, excuse me 1 minute. Danielle, are we recording? I don't see the button.
I saw the recording. Yes,
Okay. So it's going. Okay.
yes, we are.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I see recording at the top,
Okay.
Marilyn. It's hard to see it, but it's up there.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start with Broward College. We'll go with Mohammed first and see what's going on.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. My name is Mohammed Dabbas. I'm the program manager of the engineering technology at Broward College. Yeah, we have a new program, advanced manufacturing, is starting in the fall. We get approved for that. So we probably need some inputs from some of, if you have it in your colleges. I may ask you some questions regarding the curriculum and the books. Also, you know, that we have the engineering technology, which is electronics and biomedical technology, and the students, we have like 5 students now. They're doing their internship in the hospitals and getting positive feedback. They're repairing some of the equipment for COVID, and they're happy with that, the hospitals and the faculty there. And also we're giving the MSSC classes, the quality and manufacturing process and maintenance and the production. And some students taking the exams online, but still it's not on site, you know, it used to be on site. We're having good pass rates of that certification. We get funded for that from the college, and hopefully everything will be going. We'll be back hopefully on site. We miss the students face to face and the labs and stuff like that.
All right,
Thank you.
great. Who else was from, was there someone else from Broward here? I thought maybe I missed that. Can you have someone else here? No, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go next since I'm the only one from Central Florida. Well, we started a electronics program ourselves, the specialization, about a little over a year and a half ago now, and we have exploded. That's been the fastest growing program I think I've ever been in. Overwhelmed me quite a bit. I wasn't expecting that, but we have Lockheed Martin in the area, and they do an apprenticeship now using that program, which I didn't realize was going to happen. They didn't tell me that, but kind of overwhelmed me a little bit, but it's growing really fast. We're working on some other things in the agricultural side now with engineering technology. So I'm in the works right now looking for about maybe probably more than one grant at this point to look at an agritronics program. I'm getting a little more serious about that. And starting the technician for agriculture. We're getting calls from all over, especially the sugar industry. They're struggling finding anyone. And so that might be an option for some of y'all down south to promote the advanced manufacturing program with them as well. Because, you know, we're way north up here from where they're at, but we're definitely looking at some sort of an agritronics program and looking to actually add it to the engineering technology specializations for us. We would like to do it. We'll see how that goes. A lot of approvals and things going to happen with that. And then for as far as we're concerned, we're just about almost all vaccinated for COVID-19, which is nice. So I think we're going to start reopening coming fall a little more than we have been in the last couple of semesters. That's our plan at our college, so we can get a little more face-to-face. I don't know about anyone else. I'm struggling with the online part of this. So just can't get students to turn stuff in. I need to be on top of them. I need to see their work a little bit more. And I am offering labs, but it's hit and miss and limited access. So I'll be glad too when COVID is over. All right, what I'm going to do is moving forward, I'm going to just hit the ones, the colleges that are highlighted because those are the ones that registered for this session, with the exception of Eastern Florida State College, because they are here. Someone is here, but I'm going to head over to Daytona State and see if anyone here, maybe Ron or someone's here from Daytona State.
Yes, this is Dante.
Oh,
Good
hey,
morning,
Dante.
everybody. How are you?
Morning.
Good morning. Good. Well, with regards to enrollment, we had a little bit of a drop, and we're still looking at it. We were doing really good. We had about 30 headcount in our ASET into the fall, and then only 24 returned, which is kind of concerning. I hope the reason is because they found jobs, because around here in Volusia, the unemployment rate is 5%. So people are really desperate to find employees. And with regards to that, also on Wednesday, we had a meeting with our FAME board. We are launching the FAME program. We're gonna start the first cohort this fall. Things are looking really good. We did an outreach to about 5,000 high schoolers. They're gonna graduate this year. We have about 30 leads from there. We have about 18 companies that are interested in sponsoring students. So we need to pick up the pace with regards to enrollment. It looks like probably at the end, we're gonna have more companies than students, which is a good problem to have. So we're
Hey,
moving in that direction. And
Doc-
with regards to equipment, we got a good support from the rapid credentialing grant, and we were able to upgrade one of our CAD labs.
Dante, can you explain FAME right quick for those who haven't heard about it yet or read about it?
Sure, yeah. FAME is basically stands for Federation of Advanced Manufacturing Education. It is a program that was started by Toyota in Kentucky several years ago, probably over 10 years ago. At the core, basically what it is a layering of advanced manufacturing, lean manufacturing components on top of an AS degree. And the other difference is that the students are employed when they attend the 2 years of the AS. So they move as a cohort over 5 semesters, and then they go to school 2 days a week, and then they go to work for 3 days a week. And then they finish successfully and they do well in their jobs. They might end up with a permanent employment offer from the part of the employer. So the difference is, I will say, is the tight integration between the world of work and the world of school, because they're done with their coursework on Tuesday and Thursday, and then they get to apply that immediately with their mentors at the local companies that they're working at. So I think that's in a couple of paragraphs. I think it gives you a pretty good idea what we're trying to develop here.
That's great. That's great. All right. Thank you very much. Eastern Florida State College.
Yeah, I can talk on that for a minute.
Okay.
The first thing we're doing is we're discontinuing our alternative energies specialization. We are bringing online an advanced manufacturing specialization, and we're renaming our advanced technology / manufacturing to simply advanced technology, so it's like everybody else in the state of Florida. Those are the biggies we're doing.
All right.
I'd like to mention something, Sam.
Sure.
You said you're bringing on electronic specialization.
We already have.
Yeah, that's been taught at Eastern Florida since 1960. And it's always been the best job market of any specialization we've had.
Yeah, I think in our location, it went downhill. We couldn't get anybody employed until Lockheed stepped up and decided they need it, because that's the only one in the area that really uses heavy electronics.
The other thing I like to mention now, I'm face-to-face. Mir is 90% face-to-face, some hybrid. But during this whole COVID thing, I've always still done face-to-face classes. We've got a large room, we can space people out, and it's worked out well.
Yeah, not all of us have that option. So I know our college had restrictions, as many do. Well, thanks for that update, Bruce. I appreciate it. All right, Gulf Coast State College. Anyone from Gulf Coast?
Hello.
Alan? Yeah. Okay. There you are. Okay. Okay.
Okay, we've basically eliminated our electrical specialization. We've got the advanced manufacturing and the digital manufacturing. With the advanced manufacturing, we're starting, just like Daytona, a cohort of the FAME up here. We'll start in the fall. That's going pretty well. Trying to think what else. Lots and lots of equipment. We took advantage of that rapid credentialing as well and bought some missing pieces to our advanced manufacturing lab. The digital is going like crazy. We got the composites that's doing well, the machining and all that. So we've been just getting lots and lots of equipment, which is kind of unusual, but that's a good thing. So we're excited. We actually had an uptick in our enrollment, so that's also good, but we still need more. You know, it's always a
Oh,
problem.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's kind of where we're at.
All right. Thanks. Thanks. Tracy, do you want to take the Hillsborough Community College?
And Shirley was trying to get in. Did she make it?
Oh, I don't know. I know. Well,
Go ahead, Tracy.
Well, you can go ahead. Well, we're not doing much, just trying to come out of lockdown and get our enrollment back where it was.
Yep.
No new programs for the ET programs that I know of, or the electronics programs.
all right. How's your enrollment?
Enrollment is down like everyone else's, but my enrollment is it's okay. You know, I have hybrid courses, and in the summer I'm going to do both hybrid and face-to-face.
Okay, great. I'm gonna go back to Michael Enos. I think he wanted to say something right quick from Eastern
Yeah.
Florida State College. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. wanted
Sorry, I
to,
missed you.
That's okay. I wanted to bring up something that we did with the Regional Manufacturing Association here on the Space Coast, Florida Makes, and Eastern Florida State College. The Economic Development Council, sponsors the Certified Production Technician program that they hold at Eastern Florida. So the Regional Manufacturing Association cited that they wanted some hands-on experience with the CPT grads. So we worked with Eastern Florida State College, Brevard Adult and Community Education, Career Source Brevard, and Florida Makes, the EDC, and the Manufacturing Association Space Coast. They identified 4 areas that they wanted their applicants to have hands-on training. That was non-destructive and destructive testing, came straight from Blue Origin. They want their new employees to have that skill set. The through-hole and surface mount soldering, as well as cabling and wire harness assembly, and applied manufacturing mechanics. So starting in the fall at Eastern Florida State College, those courses are going to be on the schedule as a technician boot camp that rides along with the CPT program. So it's, a large effort that we put forth through the college, the different administrations, as well as our local manufacturers.
You gonna start this in fall, you said?
Yes, sir.
All right. Be cool to see how you guys fare with that. If you can keep us updated on how that goes.
Be glad to. Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah, thank you. Carlos, do you want to take over for Miami-Dade?
Sure. Everybody. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for inviting for this wonderful meeting. Well, we have been working hard on the CCC side, creating college certificates. As you might remember, we have a solar energy CCC. We're trying to include more sustainability concepts in our work. This solar energy CCC is going well. We are creating a new robotics CCC of 12 credit, trying to encourage the dual enrollment with high schools. And I really want to thank the people from Valencia College who have been helping us with this. It's been a great support. Thank you so much. We have this electrical vehicle program with Tesla, the CTC, that is going very well. We kept this program presentially, no other way to do it. People had to assist, and it's on its way. And it's the base for us, we're working hard to try to create an AS, an electrical vehicle, with the support of Tesla, but trying to increase the participation of other manufacturers too. We have created a GIS technology. I mentioned it, even though it's not, well, it's engineering, but because we're working a lot of environmental hazards and risk assessment, and this has helped us to create a pathway from high school, and it goes into our AS degree on IT, and then in the BS also in IT, and also we're creating the articulation with Florida International University for the students to be able to work on this. The idea is to increase the environmental hazard and risk assessments to contribute to the resiliency of our area. And this is something that we would love to share also with anyone who could be interested. We've been working with the PTUN, which is the Public Interest Technology University Network, quite a lot. And we encourage you colleges to participate on this network. It's very interesting. And we have obtained a couple of grants from them to support this resiliency and to try to expand this resiliency concepts to other engineering programs. We have applied for a grant with Florida International University for the Department of Energy. And also, this is a grant with Florida International University and the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University in partnership with the Kansas City National Security Center and the Los Alamos National Laboratory. This grant was approved, and we already have some summer undergraduate internship prepared for the summer to launch on the summer. For our electrical engineering BS, we have built the articulation with FIU that they will accept our students for the master's degree, and also with Florida Atlantic University. What else? We are doing some grant applications with the University of Miami and the University of Florida, Santa Cruz to NOAA to support our efforts also in resiliency and risk evaluations. And well, we were working before COVID strongly with Boeing and Airbus to create a simulation aviation technician. We stopped it during the COVID, but this is something we're going to take over to continue. This is a great opportunity. We have been working very closely with both of them, Airbus, mainly Airbus, who has led this program with us. And we have already drafted the contents of this program, which I hope we will be able to launch maybe next year. Well, that's
All
about
right.
it.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Carlos.
We're recovering. We're in -5 or 6 right now. We have been recovering. It was tough for the last semesters, but this one is recovering. Thank you.
Carlos, which campus are you on?
Yeah, I'm district.
District. The Kendall campus? No.
Pardon?
Is it the Kendall campus have the solar?
Yeah, we have the solar in Kendall campus. Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm located at Wolfson, but I'm district. I have to go to all the campuses.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. All right, Bill, I think you're up.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. We've been working for the last month, I would say. We're trying to get away from the current offering that I'm doing, which is the AMPT, Advanced Manufacturing Production Technology. That's the 600 clock hour requirement PSAV program. What we found from a lot of the students that wanted to take the program was that with COVID going on, childcare issues, their other jobs that they're currently doing, they just did not have that 35 hours a week to devote to come and take my program to further their education and get the necessary skills to get better employment. So I've been working on, with Steve Turner, we're taking a look at doing a type of hybrid with mine where we are still going to offer the CPT certification because we want to maintain that articulation into the ASET program. But we're going to do it as a type of rapid credential. We're going to drop that from a 600 hour to about a 240 hour. We're going to do that basically with MSSC 4.0, their new curriculum. That's offered through DC Yeager. And we're going to go ahead and set up an account. I've already got an account with them, but we're going to set up an account just for the students to be able to get that online curriculum. And then I'm going to augment with probably 5 to possibly 6 full 8-hour lab days on Saturday to reinforce the hands-on learning. I really think that's a valuable element. We're looking for a buy-in from local industry. Right now, I just sent out a letter to about 5 different people and our career source representative just to satisfy the state requirements to start a new program. That's about where we're at right now.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Appreciate that.
Sir.
I think Steve is on too somewhere, right? Steve?
Is he? I didn't see him in there. I looked in the chat boxes. I was trying to go through and see who else has shown
see.
up, but that was all I found was Bill, unless you're here. Steve, are you here?
Did you hear us say hello? I see his name, but okay, we'll move on.
All right, Northwest Florida State College. I looked, I didn't know if anybody showed up yet or not. Or...
Those guys come in either. Okay.
All right. Okay, well then we'll move on to Pasco Hernando.
It's Andrew Forson from PHSC. Some new things for us. Our enrollment's just like all yours, down a little bit, not horrible. We have actually had students on campus, both in the fall and also this term, 2 days a week to do labs and things. I've been running courses, hybrid and online. Hybrid courses are where the students will come in 2 days a week for their labs, and all their content's online though. We do have a new mechatronics table that we bought through Amitral. I'm going up to Indiana to train for that coming up in the summer, so I'm excited about that. And finally, I'm in the works of passing all of my MSSC CPT tests so that my students can take it. I have passed 3 of the 4. I have 1 more to take. I'm doing it in about a month. And then my plan is to tie each of the different modules to a course so that the students who enroll, say, in electronics or safety, one of those courses, will take that portion, that module of the MSSC CPT exam to try and get more buy-in and have students sit for the exams. So we're doing good. I'm excited, seeing what things are going to be like for us in the fall. Our president wants our campus to be 100% back to normal in the fall. That is the plan of action. He has had all non-faculty, non-instructors are on campus 100% right now, and faculty are coming back in, definitely by the fall. Everyone wants campus back to normal.
Okay, great. Thanks. We got Laura. No, not Laura. Let me see. Pasco Hernando. Go ahead and go, Pasco. That was you. Was that you just now? That was, Pensacola State College. Laura from Pensacola. Sorry.
Laura didn't say Pete.
No, not Laura. I'm sorry. I'm thinking something completely different. Did anybody from Pensacola State College?
Online.
Nope. Trying to see. Okay. Let's move on to Polk State College.
Maury's here, but he's got a
I'm here and I'm under Orotai today. Orotai is in as well. Both of us are in.
Yay.
And my Zoom link didn't work. Hopefully it will work next time. But at Polk State, our enrollment is pretty much steady. A little bit low on mechanical design fabrication as far as the course concerns, but we haven't lost any students yet. And that is simply because CNC machining requires a little bit more in close contact with the instructor. And with this COVID-19, there is going to be a problem. So last year, we did start to adopt 3 new certifications. We completed, it went through AQC and is on our catalog now. And those 3 new certifications are hydraulic, pneumatic, mechatronics, and automation. Also, we received input from our industry advisory board that we should offer, or at least support, we cannot offer, but support courses in networking. So as a result, we put 6 new networking courses as electives in our program. And the reason that we put 6 new elective courses in networking, if a students finish those courses, they would be knowledgeable enough to pass Cisco Networking Associate license or certification. We are seeing trends that a few students from even finishing their networking associate degrees coming to our program finishing advanced manufacturing. It looks like local manufacturers are requiring pretty much a technician or graduate from advanced manufacturing to beef up their knowledge in networking as well, especially partially on cybersecurity and networking in general. So that's where we are. Another information is we have modified our work measurement courses, ETM 1010 a little bit, and moving pretty much near to be way advanced because we are using CMM in that course very widely. We are using material testing, and we are using microscope and all this stuff. So it's a little bit more advanced than what it was 4 years ago or 2 years ago. That's all that I have.
Thanks, Maury. Who else? Does your partner
Does
want to talk?
Dr. Northern, do you have anything? Probably not.
Okay. All right. We'll move forward. Anyone from Santa Fe College? I did not see anyone on the list that came in, but
On the
no.
registration list, but not on this list.
Yeah, I kind of went through trying to look at it. Well, I guess Cecilia, you're up then.
All right, so at Seminole State College, we will start in the fall semester to offer the automation certificate, which is a new certificate for us. And it does include 3 new classes that we haven't had before. So that would be the PLC class. Probably we are looking for equipment such as Allen Brantley equipments to have in that class, and we are figuring out those equipment needs at this point. And we also have the automation and sensors class that is going to be a new class that's going to enhance our mechatronics program. And then we have a third new class, which would be the robotics applications. So we are really excited about that. And we feel that the students are really excited about it. And the companies that we've talked about too are also very excited that they will learn those classes and those topics, and that would be useful for our students. So we are really happy about that part.
Great. Thank you, Celia. Is there anyone else from your college available, or I didn't see?
Not
I've
what
been
I
looking.
see, so now I don't.
Okay. Okay.
Can I ask a quick question, Cecilia?
Yes.
Is the robotics application a first level robotics course or?
Yes.
second?
Yes.
Okay.
We also have in the bachelor programs, we have the robotics and 2 other robotics classes, but they are more advanced. So this would be the first step.
Okay, great, thanks.
Great. All right. Anyone from St. John's? I didn't see anyone from there either going through the list.
Jay said he was registered, but I don't see him.
Yeah, I don't see him either. No, I don't see him.
they
Well, I
are-
guess now we can get to Laura. Sorry, Laura. I was way ahead of myself there, but go ahead.
I'm like, wow, I got moved.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Just in case you're new, I am Laura Sharp. I'm the program director for engineering, manufacturing, and building arts at St. Petersburg College. Let's see, enrollment wise, we've actually been holding on fairly well. We haven't in ET, I mean, as a college, we've actually increased a little bit. In ET, we've stayed about flat, which we'll take, but we're also showing decent retention, although the spring semester may kill us, but we're doing whatever we can to keep the students there. But overall, it could have been a lot worse, so we're actually pretty happy. So for us, the biggest things that we've been talking about is we're looking at doing another lab expansion. We've run out of room in our main lab, so we're looking at converting a room on campus to an additional lab so that we can separate out some of our spaces. So that's a good thing. That'll also help with our workforce training as well. GIS is hot right now on our campus. And so we're figuring out how we can implement GIS into several different programs across the college. And right now we're looking at putting it into building arts, but one of our CAD instructors does GIS where he works. And so we're probably going to institute it into CAD at some point into the digital design program. We are actually, it hasn't been officially approved by the board, although the board did give me the approval to move forward to put it on the agenda. The advisory board is, we're going to change our name to Applied Engineering Technology. We're thinking that might actually set us apart a little bit, and also with some of the confusion between traditional four-year engineering. I think it's also a little bit better descriptive about what we do. And so we're probably going to move forward with that. And that name change will probably, if the advisory board approves, probably will go through for next year. Other than that, you know, we will probably be back face-to-face in the fall. We've been doing hybrid and flex, which means that we have some students online and then some on campus at the same time. The faculty's been amazing, just coming up with all these different ways to try and keep the students hands-on. We've been sending kits to students, especially in electronics. And the last thing I want to talk about with biomedical engineering technology is the 2 new college credit certificates that we submitted to the state have gone live, gotten approval. So one is in medical device networking and cybersecurity, and the other one is in medical device design and manufacturing. So we're really excited about those coming online.
Excellent, excellent, great. All right, State College of Florida. I didn't see anyone show up on the list, but is there anyone here from State College of Florida?
On the list.
I didn't see him.
I think they're on break, but Terry,
Yeah.
who's the new dean there, did register.
How about Tallahassee Community College? Okay.
I was going to wait to see if one of my colleagues stepped up and spoke, but I'm Scott Baylog, and I serve as executive director for the College's Center for Innovation in downtown Tallahassee. I met Marilyn actually through Jim Taylor in the Florida Business Industry Leadership Task Force. And so while I can sort of represent TCC at a very high level as it relates to manufacturing, advanced manufacturing and engineering technology, just noting particularly our build out of our new welding lab at the Kim B. Williams Advanced Manufacturing Training Center. I'm really here to observe and to learn more about the needs represented among this group across the state and the opportunities to engage industry partners all across the state of Florida. So thank you for allowing me to be part of this today.
Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Well, there's only about 50 people from Valencia here, so I don't know who wants to start first, but
hey, Sam, Paul Wilder, I just wanted to jump in and say that we have not been successful moving the AS engineering forward as yet. We've had a lot of, as many will know, we're just finishing up our new presidential search, and that process is completed. And so the leadership is sort of in flux right now at the institution. So we're still working on that. We're finishing up our EMCT, the Energy Management Controls. We're dangerously close to closing that grant out and bringing that lab fully online. So that's going well. As you know, we got our ABET accreditation. So I'm going to pass it over to Radu to talk about some changes that we're making in alignment with the PET, ECET, AS to BS transfer program, and he can talk about that. And then we'll head over to Kevin Curley for updates on the Osceola program in supply chain and manufacturing. So Radu?
Hi, good morning, everyone. We modified
Morning.
the AS to BS track to be able to include all the gen ed and high-level math like algebra, pre-calculus, calculus 1 and 2, and physics. So this will make it for a streamlined version for our students to have a path to go into the bachelor track. This was approved actually this week and will go in effect in the fall. Thank you.
All right.
Kevin?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Valencia College over at the Osceola campus, and I've been coordinating with Paul and his guys with their programs and how we overlap and trying to get our courses in line that are appropriate for our ASET program. And we offer the advanced manufacturing and supply chain automation specializations. We just started in the fall, and we've been doing a face-to-face lab in the fundamentals of electronics since the fall. And in the summer, we're looking forward to having 2 courses that will have face-to-face labs. From an enrollment perspective, I have an advantage in that the program just started, so I have nothing to compare to. But coming into the spring, we had 52 students declared for our program. And to me, that's really exciting. I think it's a great start to the program. We're looking to add a couple of certificates underneath the program, one in supply chain automation, and then we're looking at the state frameworks for the ET support specialist and the mechatronics certificates, and we're going to add those. We've been working with our local high schools and with the Valencia mechatronics program for articulation agreements. We're looking forward to locking those down. We've added some new equipment. And I have a great advantage of having more equipment than space. So we try to work in a more reconfigurable kind of a concept for our lab. We got we've added a Skill Boss logistics trainer. We've added some hydraulics and pneumatics trainers, welding learning system, and some new PLC trainers. So the program, I think, is off to a great start, and we're looking forward to getting back to what would be normal. So thank you.
Great.
So our enrollment overall is at the institution is up. Interestingly, we are probably a little bit down in the ET area, but not horribly, and so we're doing okay. We're spending a lot of time handing out or loaning out equipment to students to do remote work. We anticipate being back to some higher level of on-campus activity in the fall. We're holding some laboratory activity, sort of a hybrid courses with online lectures and laboratory on-site work for students, but it's limited at this point. We anticipate being closer to normal at the end of the summer. So we'll have to see how things go with variations on the virus and if the vaccines are working, but we're kind of heading in that direction. So things are okay.
Great. Anything else from Valencia?
Yeah, if I could interject.
Sure.
I do Andy Ray, I do the built environment programs. And we're very fortunate because our enrollment's up 27% over last spring. We've got 930 majors, 300 of those are in CAD, which I guess qualifies, according to your website, as the digital design, which also should include rapid prototyping. We have a technical certificate in rapid prototyping based on St. Pete College, and neither one of us are listed on there. But as far as GIS, part of our built environment is civil surveying engineering technology. And we have some new equipment, a new Faro 3D scanner, an Artec EV scanner, and a bunch of drones that once we're allowed back on campus, we want to incorporate into the GIS portion of our surveying program.
Great.
Hey,
Excellent.
Sam, this is Pete. I got a quick question
Sure.
towards Kevin Curley, if that's okay.
Yep.
So Kevin, overheard you say that you've got more machines in space, which is an outstanding problem, as you pointed out. if you haven't thought about it already or you're not doing it already, that would be an awesome opportunity to work that as a project. Like that's a common problem that manufacturers have, is they all of a sudden need or they get a new machine and they don't get more space to put that machine in necessarily. And so having to reorganize all those machines, what kind of logistics do you call in a rigging company to move the equipment yourself? What kind of lines need to be dropped? That's a real world case scenario that if you can exercise on that with some of your students, definitely take advantage of that.
That's good point. That's a good point.
That is a good point. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, one of the things we're doing right now is we're working with our advanced skills training group across the hall from me. And we're looking at sharing assets and seeing how we can use their space and our space combined in a way that we can sort of do musical chairs when we're back to full operation and move classes between the two areas.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. All right, anyone else from Valencia? All right, I'd like to back up to Shirley. Shirley, you just came on, it looks like, from Hillsborough Community College. Do you have anything you want to add? I know Tracy kind of mentioned some stuff on the electronic side.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Let me mute for a second here.
I think she's logged in twice.
You'll have to move her off, Marilyn. I don't think.
Is that better?
Yes, much better. Okay.
Found the other one. I was trying to the computer, everything. Okay. I'm sorry I missed with Tracy's update, but if I cover something again, no problem. But good morning, everybody.
Morning.
We are at ACT working on our summer program, trying to nail that down. We are running fast. Desh, who was doing our programs, has now been promoted to State College of Florida, director of our Academy of Coding. Anyway, she's had a great promotion, so we're kind of trying to fill in those big shoes. We have a new president, Deborah Kish Johansson, for campus. We have, just quickly going through the changes we've had, through the amazing help of Peter Surratt, we've got our Duramax calibrated, and he will be working with us to get manufacturers to come in to help us get some training on that. Running our students to the lab, we expect for our program is up, even down for the rest of the program. We have actually had increase. Our supply chain courses are actually under business. We have a lot of interest and a lot of pickup in that area. We've also got some new equipment in our lab. We've got, well, I can't remember the last time if we had our training on the 4.0 trainer, we got that done. And we'll be integrating that, of course, into our courses. We also have 2 new skill bosses because for the summer, we're going to try to run the CPT camp for high schoolers. And we have approval to have them on campus. That means we'll have to have the rest of our summer program actually online because we can't have all the students there. And the students should hopefully be able to get their certification by the end of the summer. Those for seniors, actually for high schoolers. Let's see. We're also right now doing a capstone CNC to see if we can actually have enough going to actually run the program next spring. We're doing something with the CNC courses. Yeah, that covers most of the things for us.
All right, great. Thanks, Shirley. Appreciate that. That's one thing I wanted to ask everybody. If anyone is using any type of scheduling program for your labs, because we're limited as the number of folks that can come into a lab. If you're tight like I am, I only got one little space with all my equipment in it. So I have to basically set up a scheduling matrix for them to come in and do labs, because I can't have more than like 10 in the lab at one time. So I'm just wondering if anybody has any software they're using. If you wouldn't mind typing it in the text box. If you do, I would like to start reviewing some. I might need to use it come up fall.
Sam,
Yes.
very briefly, we are using one software for years, and you have an option to use a free version, which is very good for free version. But we pay $239 a year. It's very advanced, but you don't have to pay. I will
All right,
send you the link.
Yeah, put it in the text box if you don't mind, so everybody can get a copy of it. I just
We
wanted to
use the
see,
Same one, Sam.
who is this?
Sorry, this is Laura. My cat is
Oh.
freaking out. Sorry, everybody. We use the same software Maury does.
Okay,
So,
great.
It's great.
Excellent, excellent. Good. If you don't mind typing that into the text box or providing us some information or a link or something, that'd be great. All right. Well, it looks like we're a little bit ahead, so that's good.
We have a couple more.
Oh, did we?
I think Stephen, Stephanie here.
Did we miss anyone? I thought we went
No, they
through.
just came in, I believe.
Oh, okay. Who was it?
From Kaiser? Oh, no, maybe he left.
Good morning. I'm Stefan Nathan at Kaiser University. How y'all doing this morning?
Oh, great, great.
He
Okay,
is.
go ahead.
What's up? What's new?
Talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm just kind of listening. I'm curious to hear a couple of points I'd like to talk about. There's throw them out there. Two things that we've been discussing with the IEEE and a few other organizations, and I'll just throw them out there. In fact, Marilyn, I was going to email you, but I wanted to do some homework before I did, so I could at least ask some intelligent questions. First of all, have you all heard of the IEEE Student Volunteer Program, number one? And number two, we're a non-ABET accredited institution, and we have hooked up with IEEE for one reason only, and that is to create some sort of metric for our students that when they graduate, they can have some affiliation or certification with our institution through IEEE. Now, that was originally supposed to be done with organizations who have agreed to sponsor our program, but not until we have some graduates, which are 2 or 3 or 4 years away. So I was curious, and I contacted the FES, and they have a student program, but the requirement is that we must be ABET accredited. So I know not everyone's ABET accredited, but is there a organization that our students, in fact, we started a new student organization at Kaiser for this very reason, but I'm more interested in getting them involved in maybe a state level organization for students, if there is one. And if these aren't appropriate topics, we can take these offline. I apologize.
No, I think for my students that join the IEEE, they have conferences, statewide conferences in Orlando and places like that they go to, and we actually sponsor them to go at the college before COVID now. That's how we did it. So I think once they join and get a membership, they become a chapter, and then they'll have state and national things going on that they can participate in.
Well, that's the problem. We don't qualify to set up a chapter at any of our campuses or even within the institution. So we've taken advantage of this new program that they just launched called the Student Volunteer Program.
Right.
And but I'm looking beyond that to see if there's anything else. If there is, I want to know about it. If there's not, maybe we'll create it. That's sort of my position.
Right. Yeah, if anybody has any ideas, go ahead and please type it into the text box so Stephen can take a look at that. Anybody else that we might have missed or came in later that needs an update, would like to update before we move on?
Preston, do you want to? I think Preston Steele is on.
Oh, great.
Mohammed gave an update, but maybe you have something you want to share. Are you there?
I'm sorry, I'm having technology problems. No, I have no further update from Mohammed.
Okay.
All right, great. We can
Welcome.
probably, if there's nobody else that has come in, and if you've just come in, please make sure your name and your contact information are in the text box, the bottom middle, so we can count for attendance and disseminate information to you. other than that, I believe Bob Levens is next. Is that correct? I believe I saw that on the agenda.
Yeah.
So Bob, you want to go ahead and get started a little early, give you a little extra time.
I'm trying to get this, I'm having a hard time with, everybody's having a hard time with Zoom today. I can't get the slides to move.
Oh, okay, okay.
Try this. Yes, here we go. Let's say a little welcome to the other folks that are here. I didn't see someone from, oh, Drew's here from USF. You want to say hi, Drew? A couple people, we already got Stefan and
Well, Stacy, didn't Stacy come in? I thought I saw Stacy from FAMU.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Good morning.
Morning.
Got any news from FAMU?
Any news of FAMU? Just that I'm always glad to be a part of this organization or invited. And the fact we're coming up for our ABET accreditation in the fall. So we're preparing now and in this summer. Like Sam, this lab portion for engineering technology is a challenge for me. Last semester we had face-to-face with the students being spaced. This spring they went to something called High Flex, where the students had a choice. And that doesn't work for students who are hands-on oriented with just trying to do a software simulation. Attention span goes somewhere else, even though it seemed easier. Trying to get information turned in has been a challenge. We're working with TCC with an articulation agreement submitted to I think their business school for electronics, construction, and architecture, since those are the three programs we have in the School of Architecture, Engineering, and Technology. I may have dropped the ball on Pascal Hernandez for sending me their curriculum, and it just got pushed on the back burner with this COVID, getting through it, going through it, the shot, the side effects, but we're still pushing to make things happen. So thank y'all for continuing to deal with us as we continue to press on.
Well, thanks for joining us. And we had someone, Angela Lyons from Career Source, but I don't think she's joined, one of the career sources, I think, in Tampa Bay. And we also have a guest from University of Florida. Gloria, are you on? You want to say hello and tell them what you do?
Yes, thank you, Marilyn. I'm a faculty member in mechanical and aerospace engineering, and I've been working in robotics and manufacturing for many, many years. And so I have a project that is funded by the National Science Foundation, where part of the broader impact is to help basically develop a training module for incorporating basically AI and human robot collaboration. So I'm looking, I mean, that's why I reached out to Marilyn. Is there maybe your programs might want to utilize such a module? Like maybe you're a stakeholder that would be interested in such a module. And this would be like a plug-in type, but not a whole curriculum. But and also at the University of Florida, we do have our manufacturing program as well as robotics in our department. So students are interested in going to a full engineering degree, do look at University of Florida as a place. There's also an industrial engineering has some robotics too, and manufacturing aspects to it. Thank you, Marilyn.
Okay, thanks, Gloria. Yeah, I've been working, talking with Gloria about possibly some professional development on that potential module they'll be working on, not this year, but starting next fall and maybe implementing like a year from now. So might be some good opportunities for us to learn some stuff from our friends at the university. So And then lastly, we do have a number of our vendors who have registered, and I'm not sure who all are here. We aren't going to take time at this time to go through them. I just put their the companies up, and you'll see them in the chat window. And of course, you're welcome to share anything new in the chat. Anyone from the colleges or from the vendors, anything you want to share with everyone who's at the meeting here today. So anyway, we thank you for joining us and always supporting the forum. And of course, we all look forward to being face to face where we can touch and play with all of your cool toys.
Thank you, Marilyn. This is Carl Hansick from Test Equity. We're always glad to be a part of this because we do supply to all of the colleges, and we appreciate being invited.
Okay, thanks so much. All right, so now I think we're ready to go to the Department of Education. So
Right, Bob. Yep.
You ready? Bob Levens? Uh-oh, did we lose him? Is he muted?
Maybe he got knocked off.
I'm looking to see. You see
His
him?
microphone shows on.
Bob, we can't hear you.
Huh. Yeah, he kind of like disappeared
Yeah.
on my screen. Now it looks like he's trying to come back.
Yeah, I see him in the list. Let's see.
I see him there. I just don't think he's able to speak for some reason.
I wonder if you can hear us, Bob. Can you put, you know, when you're out, too many people attacking you at one time.
Right.
Tell you to try this, try that. So maybe, well, he's working on this. I see his camera's open and his mic is also. I won't put this on Catherine, but I did look through his slides and they're kind of.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, now we can.
All
Yeah.
right, I just had to reboot my mic.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm sorry about that, everybody. Again, I'm Bob Blevins. I think most of you know me. Again, I'm the state supervisor over the manufacturing cluster, engineering and technology, and also the transportation, distribution, and logistics. Marilyn, you can go ahead and change the next slide. Again, I always like to stick something up there. If we didn't have advancements in technology, we wouldn't be going anywhere, would we? All right, this is what we're going to be looking at today. Specialization updates, new programs. I'm not going to go in very much about the FLATE grant. That's something that I've been working with Marilyn and Daniele very intensely. We do have some updates to the 2020 U.S. Department of Education SIP code. It does affect the manufacturing cluster. I'll go over the 2021 framework reviews. New program request procedure is now in place. It has changed dramatically. So I'm going to give you some updates on that and a brief update on the audit.
That was the CTE audit, right?
Yeah. The new specialization, again, Valencia, we finally got it through. It took us a while, but the supply chain automation been running. I think Valencia actually mentioned it, got that going now.
Right.
Again, I think St. Pete was talking about the medical device networking cybersecurity CCC. This one was an immense trouble to get through, but I finally we're working through it and we got it in and it is now up and running. It's a 23.
You folks are pretty lucky having gotten them in before the new forms.
Right. Yeah, we got that one in right before the new form. So we were extremely lucky, but it still took us almost a year because somehow it kept getting lost or kept getting set on somebody's desk. And we finally got it through. The SIP code changes. Here they are. These are all basically under the ET degree. The alternative energy specialization under the alternative energy system specialist CCC has a SIP code change. And there is the old one in green and the new one in red. And that will be effective for the 21-22 school year.
Where did these
Yeah.
come from? The new.
These came from the U.S. Department of Education.
Right.
And we sent them out to all the schools who offered it, and they had their input on whether or not they agreed with it, whether they disagreed with it. And also I did research on them, and if we thought it was good, then we recommended it. If we didn't think it was good, or the school had a different recommendation, then we researched that, and we could either say yes, no. And so this is the new SIP that was recommended for the Alternative Energy Specialization, CCC. The Rapid Prototyping Specialist, CCC, got a new SIP code change. Again, there's the one in green and the new one in red.
Okay, great. That's important information for those who offer those programs.
And it's not going to be, it's nothing the schools have to do. It's going to be a direct conversion. No, there's nothing that has to be done. Here's another one under the ET, the Composite Fabrication and Testing, CCC. There's the old SIP number, and then there's the new SIP number in red.
Okay.
And Solar Energy Technician, CCC, which we think was mentioned earlier, I think from Miami-Dade. There's the old SIP number, and there's the new SIP number.
So Bob, do you know what the, so I see the differences are here in the, actually they started like in the third digit to the right. Sorry, from the left. So those have meanings related to
those the new SIP number more closely aligns with the actual Solar Technician, CCC.
Okay. All right, thanks for that.
And the new program request, they're available, and we have them for the AS degree, the AAS degree, the college credit certificate, the career certificate, and high schools. Those all now are posted on on the CTE program resource page. So when you go to DOE, and if you haven't visited our page in a long time, you'll notice that the whole new CTE page has changed. It's now easy. I think it's a lot easier to navigate. It's broken it down. When you first log on to it, you'll see, in fact, CTE is the very first block on the new web page, and then you can navigate from there. And again, all these request forms are on the program update, and I've included right there the actual website.
Yeah,
it's under the program resources page.
Bob, it seems to me like the AS degree and maybe the AAS, but the AS and the college credit certificates were the same form in the past.
Not anymore.
All different. Okay.
It's all different now. I mean, like I said, it was a major overhaul of the program request.
Okay, got it. That's important for all of us to know.
Yep. And framework reviews. This year I've not got a whole lot under manufacturing, under the secondary, industrial machining maintenance, machining technology, advanced manufacturing technology, electronic systems technology, and the welding technology. Under the career certificate programs, again, most of them align with the secondary programs: industrial machinery maintenance and repair, biomedical equipment repair, electrical and instrumentation technology, jewelry design 1 and 2, millwright, welding technology, and welding technology advanced. And under the AAS degrees, the aerospace technology, the aerospace technicians, the 2 CCCs, and the simulation technology.
Who offers the simulation technology? Do you know offhand?
Not right offhand, I do not.
Anyone online offer that program? Okay.
because I do know.
Oh, yeah, Marilyn, we're going to sunset the program because of lack of enrollment. But we offered that for, I think, 3 years or 4 years.
Is that Dante?
Yes, this is Dante, sorry.
Okay, all right, so that's Daytona. Okay, great.
The program's daggered for deletion for 2021 in manufacturing. I'm good. Gaming machine repair and technician. There's been no enrollment reported in it in a few years, so there's no use keeping it around. And the digital manufacturing specialist, CCC, I've had no enrollment reported. So both of those have been will be daggered for 2021 or 21-22. And if I don't show any enrollment in 21-22, more than likely, I'll just go ahead and remove them from the inventory the following year.
Okay.
The CT audit, there's we have a link on our web page, and you can, if you click on that, it's going to give you the career and technical education audit results. It's going to give you the phase 1 and 2 results. It's going to give you the local review resources, and it also goes into the institutional performance resources. So this is, if you're interested in finding out how the CT audit went, there is tons and tons of information available under that link right there.
Yeah, there was also, there was a great kind of summary webinar. Was it last month or February?
Yes, and that link, that seminar is also posted on our website.
This website. I mean, that was really a good webinar telling, what the results were and what gaps they found, and even gaps in the process. And those gaps, I think, imply what's coming next. I think some more changes in the audit. So
I think Keith was the one who did that, and it was a very good.
Yeah, this was a good. So I recommend as a nice summary of the audit. It's kind of one level above the actual programs. Well, the programs all are part of the audit, but then there's the school or the college level for all CTE programs. And it was just really interesting to see the strategy they took to do the audit and what they.
Yeah, it was interesting. It wasn't intense because I personally reviewed over 100 programs.
Yeah.
In that audit, and probably only 15 or 20 were my own. So I was reviewing other cluster programs, and it was intense.
Okay, so is that where we were? What happened here? We got a blank slide. Let me go to this one.
Okay, and then again, we're working on this, and I think next week our two bosses, between myself and Maryland, is going to be talking about this. So I'm just giving a little quick update. We're working with Florida Makes, Advanced Management Workforce Council. We're identifying a strategy to define gaps between industry technician workforce needs and the college programs. We're trying to identify robotics and mechatronics industry credentials to potentially align with our college curriculum frameworks. And again, this program or this plan is in progress, and we had a good meeting. I think was it Tuesday, Marilyn?
Yes. Yeah.
We had a productive meeting on Tuesday, and I think we overwhelmed Daniele with a lot of information she has to compile.
Yes.
So I think so. If anyone is using any mechatronics or robotics industry certs in your program, if they're on the list or not on the list, would you mind putting those in the chat? We'll take a look at some of those that some of you all might be using as we do this kind of review for those types of certifications. So thanks for a minute to make that plug, Bob.
And again, it just goes on to know we're trying to identify college resources that can be implemented to immediately address skill gaps, define important characteristics of the workplace learning experiences, and develop a statewide manufacturing month awareness platform that supports the virtual student activities. Because again, with COVID, hopefully we're back to normal by fall, but there's no guarantee where it's going to go. And increase the RMA, the FLATE, and Florida makes active participation in the CTSO competitions. And I would like to thank some of the Florida industry, because they did participate with. We just completed the Florida TSA state conference a couple weeks ago, and it went very smooth. So I appreciate the help we got there. We're develop and disseminate tools, resources that increase rural education awareness of manufacturing careers, because that's a big thing when you're talking about certain counties. When you talk about a county like Dixie County, where the whole county, or you're talking about like Franklin County, where the whole population, the whole county is 10,000 people. So we need to, that's part of this program, and develop an ET Forum leadership team and committee structure, which is why we're here. Engineers of tomorrow or today, the elementary level, just things, it's amazing what they're doing.
Is this a competition you were at?
No, this was just this was an elementary competition that was held. The one I had, the TSA one, is middle school and high school. You just think where this is K through 5.
Wow.
And they're doing this.
Look at them. Cute
And
kids.
then here's the middle school, an underwater drone.
Right.
And then here's your high school. And it's amazing what these kids do. It really is. When we have these competitions in person, and you see the stuff that they've designed and built and are operating and programming, and they've wrote the code for it, it's amazing. And that's why a lot of these students in Florida end up at MIT. They end up all over Georgia Tech, wherever. So it's a very good program.
Are these, is this from TSA?
These are TSA.
Okay. Last year, obviously, or before that.
And again, I appreciate being here. And if you guys have any updates or any questions, you've got my email, you got my phone number. Again, I'm still working from home, which is no big deal. You call my office, it goes straight to my cell phone at home. So I'm usually answering questions to 6, 7 o'clock at night, simply because I'm home. So I do it.
That's great. I know you've been really helpful to a lot of folks on this call. So thanks for working with us. We know we like to think that you belong to us, but we know you belong to some other as well.
Well, if with Sam down there in Ocala, I've been going to Ocala now about weekly for about 2 months.
Yeah.
I've been started the.
Did we lose him?
Did we lose you, Bob?
For
years.
What effort doing there?
It again.
Well, we missed that, Bob. Can you go back and say it again?
I said I've been coming down PD in a week for about 3 weeks, restoring my '65 Mustang I've had for 20.
Yeah.
And that's the place to get the parts.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Any questions for Bob? No.
Well, and this is Nasser. I have not a question, but observation.
Yes.
Bob mentioned about the SIP, some of the SIP, federal SIP to state SIP alignment, and many of the programs, in particular, many of the college credit certificate have been affected. The SIP numbers have changed. It is critical that everyone connect with their financial aid folks to make sure that those new SIPs they are aware of, and they submit for reapproval of those certificate program with the federal financial aid office, because those processes usually take 1 year to receive approval, just as an observation.
Okay, great. Thanks, Nasser. That's important to know. You can double check with who's ever in charge of making that happen at your colleges to be sure that the CCCs that you offer get on that list, so.
And I just go something, I think there was 45 total zip code changes throughout what's clusters. So some of them, I mean, it may not affect the manufacturer cluster, but it may affect your school. So, and I
Right.
think that list was sent out. So, and in fact, it's actually posted on one of our websites. It's on our webpage, and it's listed at 2021. It's a Excel spreadsheet, and it shows 45. Well, actually, it shows all the programs, and then you can fill it by new code numbers. I think they were only 45 changes out of over 1,000 different programs. So that was the good things about it.
Wow, okay. Sounds good. Any other questions or comments for Bob? We can move on to Catherine, if not. You ready, Catherine?
I'm ready. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So I'm here to talk to you about how to get on the list, and that is the CAPE post-secondary industry certification funding list. Now, that is a completely different list and separate process from the CAPE K-12 industry certification funding list. And for this process, the review is handled by the Florida Department of Education, and it follows the close of the Florida legislative session. The Florida Florida Legislature's General Appropriations Act designates specific occupational areas as funding eligible for the upcoming school year for districts and colleges. And that's why we have our recommendation process after the close of session each year. And I did provide a link where you can check out the CAPE post-secondary list. When you look for the CAPE post-secondary list on our website, you want to make sure that it says post-secondary, because if you accidentally stumble across the K-12 one, it's actually just called CAPE Industry Certification Funding List. And I don't want you to get upset if you look at that one and realize what you were looking for on the post-secondary list isn't there. So we can move on to the next slide.
Okay, let's see what's works today.
So the General Appropriations Act has a list of funding eligible occupational areas, both for districts and for colleges. This is what we have so far for districts. Typically, I don't think we've ever had an issue with the legislature removing funding eligible occupational areas. It's just that sometimes they'll add new occupational areas, and that's why we wait till the close of legislative session to open the recommendations window. Let's go to the next slide. These are the college funding eligible occupational areas.
So is that state colleges and technical?
So I should have clarified that this is for state colleges in the Florida college system. The previous slide was district, so that would include district run technical colleges and technical centers.
Okay, great, thanks.
So what kinds of certifications can be approved for the post-secondary list? These certifications must relate to a funding eligible occupation targeted by the General Appropriations Act. The certifications must be the highest level available. They must require at least 150 hours of instruction. They must meet the definition of an industry certification, and the exams must always be given in a proctored environment. We can go to the next one. what information is required to make a recommendation? So after the close of this legislative session, probably in May, Chancellor Mack will send out a memo to the district college technical centers and the Florida College occupational deans. And this will include a form. It's so much easier than submitting a certification for the CAPE K-12 list through CareerSource. This is a lot easier. On this form, you'll fill out the submitter's contact information at the college or the district. So, you know, technical college, state college, you fill out your contact information. You provide the name of the industry certification, the certifying agency, the agency website, and if that industry certification already has a DOE code, you would include that. You would select the targeted occupational area that is included on the General Appropriations Act for that certification. So there'll be a drop down for districts, like district occupational areas and Florida College System occupational areas. And you'll have to briefly explain how the certification links to this occupational area. It'll ask what occupations the industry certification prepares candidates for, and you'll be able to select up to 3 standard occupational classification codes. And then it'll ask through what program is this certification offered, and you would include the program title, the number, and the SIP number for that program. And then lastly, the last question on that form pertains to test information. We'll want to know, is the written examination developed by a third party given solely in a proctored environment and scored by the certifying agency? What are the written examination requirements to earn that certification? What other requirements are needed, such as, you know, if there's an age requirement or if it requires program completion, and if any required work experience is necessary, we ask that you explain that. So I think I already presented on this slide, but you know, it's a completely separate list, separate from the K-12 list. We can move on to the next slide. I think my slides are in here twice. I actually did some.
No, yeah.
Maybe you sent me new slides. I forgot.
I just have one final slide. It's this one, and it's the typical timeline for the CAPE post-secondary recommendation process. So, you know, in a typical legislative year like we're having, the session ends in April, mid-May. We'll open the recommendation window for a month. It'll close around mid-June, June through July. We'll review those certifications that have been recommended. In August, we send notifications to our submitters, and we send the updated rule and the updated post-secondary industry certification funding list to the State Board of Education for them to approve and adopt the list at their September meeting. So with that, I have provided my contact information in this presentation, and if you have any questions, I can take those at this time.
So once the legislative have approved this, is it instantly implemented, or is there a timeline or a lag between the time they do it and it gets actually implemented?
So it's actually a pretty fast process for CAPE post-secondary. You know, right now, during legislation, sure, there's a possibility that additional occupational areas could be added. And then when we open up the recommendation process, that's going to be this summer, and any new recommendations that get added to the post-secondary list, it's for this upcoming school year. So it's pretty quick turnaround for Cape post-secondary. It would be the 2021-22 school year.
Catherine, this morning to see I'm listed as orator today from Polk State. But once industry certification is already approved as in the list, we don't have to go through this process anymore, and college funding will be automatically implemented or applied.
That's correct. You would not have to go through this process again once your industry certification gets on the list.
I may have looked at a different list, but our next topic today is MSSC CPT. I did not see that certification in the funding list.
Okay, let me check. I knew people were going to ask me about what's actually on the list, and I have my.
It's there. I just looked it up.
On post-secondary?
Yep.
Is
The
that?
MSSC one is? Yeah, we have MSSC Certified Production Technician is on the Cape post-secondary list. It's also on the K-12 list.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the few that's on both.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine, I have a question.
But interesting enough, just one comment that it may be part of our next discussion is you say the minimum of 120 hours of instruction, and that definitely is going to be a key factor for our next discussions. And 15 credit hours is way too much, more than 120 hours of instruction. So,
well, that's the minimum.
yeah, that's as I say, that's the minimum, but
it's actually 150.
that's very important to know.
So yeah, and you know, college credits are not the same as like hours of instruction.
Yeah.
So you know, in a K-12 setting, we typically think of a student taking a course for a year is 150 hours roughly. To give you kind of an idea of that. I know
pretty
like
much works with
course is a lot of hours actually.
yeah, pretty much works with parallel with Carnegie rules and regulations.
Catherine, this is Laura Sharp from St. Petersburg College. How do certifications fall off the list?
Okay, so that is a great question. A couple of years ago, we did have kind of like an overhaul of both lists actually. For Cape post-secondary, a couple of years ago, we included certifications on that list that were not funding eligible, which I believe did cause a lot of confusion, because if something's on a Cape post-secondary industry certification funding list, it should be fundable. And those had been there due to like a previous process that required certifications. It was for dual enrollment for a reason that is completely not applicable anymore. But basically, we did remove certifications that were not funding eligible. Another reason that a certification could be removed is if the certifying agency discontinues the certification. Sometimes it's removed through that. When we did an overhaul of the Cape K-12 industry certification funding list, we required all certifications to be resubmitted to review to ensure that they all continued to meet the requirements in statute. And, you know, over several years, a lot of, some of the requirements and some of the standards had changed in some certifying agencies. So, I mean, if we discovered that a certification was not meeting the requirements, we would remove it from the list. An example would be like, if when a certification is added to the list, we review it, it appears to be proctored, and then years later, we find out that there are some instances in which candidates may take like a continuing education course, and at the end they have a kind of like a test, and it's not officially proctored. So you have an instance where you have the certification that might be proctored in some instances, but not in others. We would remove that from the list.
And the ones that are not deemed fundable, is that because they're not part of that district list that you showed us?
District or college, everything that goes on to the CAPE post-secondary industry certification funding list must be eligible for college or district performance incentive funds. And yes, that would correlate with those lists that I showed you.
Thank you. And if you don't mind, because it will set us up for our next conversation, can you remind the group what the advantages are to MSSC being that 15 credit articulation agreement?
Oh, the 15 having an articulation agreement.
Well, yeah, and that we've been told in the past that there's the fact that it's a 15 credit articulation gives it some special status or something like that.
Oh, yeah, this is a great question. So at the MSSC Certified Protection Technician, that's the one you're talking about, right? It's one of the few that's on both the CAPE K-12 and post-secondary list. So the cool thing about this is if you have a high school student who earns this certification, they articulate 15 college credits to a specific degree program. I'm guessing it's engineering technology, and they can go to any college in the state that offers this and have advanced standing in that area. So this is, really excellent thing to have. Actually, if a student were at a technical college, they could still theoretically take advantage of that opportunity. We do have articulation agreements for a lot of industry certification. These are all indicated on the CAPE K-12 list. But that 15 college credit articulation is like one of, I think, the highest one we have. Most of them only articulate 3 college credits. So,
well, Catherine, the question is why it needs to be 15? Why it has to be 15?
Oh, I don't know why it has to be 15, actually. I mean, that is something that is decided upon by the colleges collectively, because I know that you all offer different courses. Your courses aren't specified in the curriculum frameworks. It's up to the different colleges to determine what courses to use to make that articulation agreement. You just have to be able to agree upon the number of credits. I think college courses most of the time are like increments of 3 credit hours, but yeah, I'm not certain as to why it has to be.
So there is no correlation between funding and 15 credit hours.
Well,
if that was 12 credit hours, anywhere that there is some related to any kind of funding, it would be the same.
Correct. It would be the same. So on the CAPE K-12 list, we do have, you know, a number of certifications that articulate their the funding weight is 0.2 if the for articulation agreements of 4 credits or more. That's currently what it is. There is a bill out there that would potentially raise the threshold for the college credits up to 4, you know, to be eligible for that increased bonus funding. But I don't think that reducing the articulation agreement to 12 would adversely affect CAPE funding for districts. It would equate to actually, hold on. I think you may be right. I'm going to research something while we're talking. While there's discussion, because I can't remember the actual cutoff. Laura, I think you're onto something. Rarely people ask me about this particular one because it's very seldomly earned. You know, it's not one of the more common ones just because it is so challenging. But here I'm talking to the group of people that specialize in this area.
While you're researching it, I'm gonna go ahead and put something in. When you do submit for a new one, especially if it's the manufacturing, because Catherine is going to be sending those to me to vet because they're manufacturing. And the very first thing I look at is it 150 hours. And if it does not meet that 150-hour requirement, then I'm not going to research it any further. So if you're going to be submitting any new ones, make sure that you think that they meet that 150-hour requirement first.
And Bob, obviously that 150 hours that you're talking about, it needs to be mentioned in that particular industry certification by that authorities.
Well, again, the 150 hours, again, like you said, that's confusing with college because you deal in credit hours, whereas we deal in contact hours.
Yes.
And when we say 150 contact hours, you divide that by 40 and you come up with what? You come up basically 4 weeks.
Yes.
Or Catherine, on the 150 hours, can you amplify on that just a bit? Can subsequent or previous certifications that build to a capstone or something of that nature qualify then for that 150 hours, or how is that 150 hours directly that certification?
Okay, so the question is about if you have like a lower level certification that is maybe part of like a set of certifications, they're tiered. The lower level, it does contribute. It is 150 hours. Is that?
Yeah. If there's subsets, let's say you have PLCs, you have sensors, you have electrical, you have hydraulics, you have all of the pneumatics, all of these, but then they collectively then bring you to a top level capstone. Should you submit those certifications or just submit the certification is the summation of those previous certifications that would lead to the 150 hours?
So for CAPE post-secondary, we're only going to take the highest level. And so that highest level certification would have to require at least, 150 hours of instructional duration.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like the students would have to take all of the segments, whatever, first. And then for no acknowledgement, basically on the CAPE list, and then take this final, the highest one, which may be the capstone you're referring to. Is that Al Jeffries? To get the certification that has, that's on the list, it's on the CAPE post-secondary list. So if they wanted to offer that somehow the students would have to take all of the lower certifications first if they're required to get the highest one. And the kind of stackable arrangement. I think that's what,
Yeah, that was my question. Any of those standalone may not have, they're part of a 150-hour curriculum, but they in and of themselves aren't 150 hours. But collectively they bring you to a technician level or a certain certification level.
so there's a separate there's all these little pieces. And then when you finish those pieces, you can take this certification at the end.
Yeah, I'm thinking of, like, for example, I saw that NCCR's electrical 1, 2, and 3 were rejected and 4 was accepted. And the answer was because levels 1, 2, and 3 weren't the highest level of electrical. But at 4, you have had to have taken 1, 2, and 3 in order to get to 4.
Yes, but also that electrical level 4 is at least 150 hours. And so are 1, 2, and 3 for that matter, because they're on the K-12 industry certification funding list.
Yeah, okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, so back to that question about the 15 credit hour articulation agreement. You are going to want your certification to remain at a 15 credit hour articulation agreement. And I will tell you why. Just shortly, so MSSCN 001 currently is FTE funding weighted at 0.5. And, most CAPE industry certifications on a K-12 list are weighted at 0.1, which is about $450 of bonus funding. And that's for certifications that don't articulate for credit. A 0.2 is an industry certification, is the weight for an industry certification that articulates anywhere up to 14 college credits. So that's around like $850. And so the 0.5 FTE is the weight that was assigned to the MSSC CPT certification. And that is for certifications that articulate 15 to 29 college credits. So you will want that certification to articulate 15 credits.
I'm sorry, Catherine. Thank you. We knew there was something to it, so thank you for finding that for us. And if we change, this is just throwing this out there. So if we were to change it to less than 15, would that affect both it would affect both, right? The secondary and the post-secondary lists, correct?
It would only affect the K-12 secondary list because these funding weights are in the FEFP, the Florida Education Finance Program, which only K-12 students are eligible for. So that makes, for that industry certification, if a K-12 student earns it in a K-12 institution, that funding would be reduced from 0.5 bonus FTE down to 0.2 bonus FTE. For colleges, for the CAPE post-secondary list, it's typically $1,000. And then that's prorated based on how many students actually earn the certification on the post-secondary side in both districts and colleges. So it may be a little bit less than $1,000. But the other question I would ask is, you know, how many high school students earn the MSSC? I know it's not a lot because it's very challenging. So
Well, that was actually a question I was going to ask for you.
yeah,
Is there any way that we can get that number?
Yeah, I can tell you momentarily.
Thank you.
Catherine, I
And
think
actually,
last
I
year
wanna
was
look
somewhere
at-
around 45 total. 'Cause
Okay.
I think because you sent me that data, I think it was like 45 students statewide.
Was that in 1819?
I think that was 1819 because that's the last time I
Okay.
think I
Because
requested it from you.
1920 numbers are not very good. And I think 45 is impressive for that certification.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm looking at it now in my area. This is Sam with the College of Central Florida. I have one high school that has 30 of them, and he's about to get about 25 of them done by himself. He's got the highest, I think, in the state, and I'm pulling them in my program, and I think it's you're going to see an uptake if this funding changes to a lower value for the schools. They're just going to drop it all together, I think.
I don't
That's
think
my
so.
only concern because I don't see how they can afford to do it anymore. You know, they're losing funding. I mean, that's tough. But I like where we're heading with it, though.
Yeah, Catherine, this is Maury to say again. I have one more question just to clarify everything for myself. Everybody else may be clear, but I'm not yet. So let's have it this way. MSSC CPT, if it's completed as a secondary school, they get the funding. And it's going to be based on if it's more than 15 credit hours or less than 15 credit hours. The way is different. If it's articulated to college, college is not getting any funding, but the college will get funding if a student complete the certification during the time that the students is completing their degree at the college. Is that correct?
Yeah, so if the student is just enrolled at a high school, they're not dual enrolled at all, they earn the certification, the funding goes to the school district gives it to that program of that high school. If the student is dual enrolled with a college, whether it's a technical college or a state college, because this certification is on both lists, it would actually be funded through the CAPE post-secondary industry certification funding list. So it would be around $1,000. And for dual enrollment, the school district and the post-secondary institution, whether it's a district technical college or a Florida college system institution or a private university, they enter into an agreement for the equitable distribution of funds. So that could vary. Now, the funds are for CAPE K-12, the funds are supposed to go to the program that generated it, 80%. But in terms of, for articulation agreements, the district and the post-secondary institution work out a plan for the equitable distribution of funds.
Is that
Thank you.
a follow-up question on that? Is that whether the certification is given by the higher ed institution or the public schools institution for the dual enrollment one? It doesn't matter where the test is given?
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't
matter.
I mean, they're still a K-12 student, so
it's interesting. I didn't know that. One other.
it sounds like if they're dual enrolled and they take it at the college and they're enrolled in this college program, you would think that the funds would go to the college, but Florida statute outlines, I mean, that's not that's not for me to tell you all what to do with it. It's just that you know, work out an agreement together.
Okay. And I just want to verify something that I think I remember hearing in the past is, so let's just say for argument's sake that we as a group decide that the overall state articulation for MSSC should be 12. Is it still possible for a single institution to still offer 15 through a local articulation?
Yes, that is possible. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But the funding would still be the point.
Right, at 12, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, this has been super helpful. I really appreciate it.
Right, I think, Sam, we're gonna have to stop this conversation and move on. Laura, we're gonna try to come back to you and Maury a little bit later and let Nasser do his presentation on the CWE. So there is this question out there about how many credits and which courses are involved in the MSSC at the college level. And I know many of you, we've had these discussions off and on, weighing the pros and cons of the 15 credit hours and the certain courses that are aligned and all of those things. Maybe the information that Catherine has provided will give us more food for thought as to how we can deal with this going forward and how we can still have, you know, meaningful programs and make sure that the students get the courses that they need, et cetera. So let's let Sam, I'm sorry I jumped in, but I think we'll just let Nasser go ahead with his.
Yeah, go ahead, Nasser.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. And first, let me say that I really miss seeing every one of you in person. And I hope very soon we can hold the meetings in person. We can connect and talk and say hello to each other in person. Also, thank you for the opportunity to share with you the work of the Career Workforce Education. As you know, our institutions and in particular our workforce people such as yourself, our faculty, our deans, advisors, do a great and excellent job in addressing and preparing the skilled and talented workforce for our community. However, to achieve our goals, not only we need, let's say, financial resources such as Perkins and other grants and the institution support, we also need to be able to express our concerns, our voice, in policies and processes that could affect our work and our practices. So to that extent, up to a couple of years ago, the workforce folks used to be Occupational Education Standing Committee, OESC, as a subgroup of CIA, which was the Council of Instructional Affairs. Along with the Council of Student Affairs, these individuals were directly connected not only to the Department of Education, but also directly connected to the Council of Presidents. Because of the importance of the work we do, and every year our responsibility increases, and in particular, when the Governor Executive Order 1031 mentioned that the workforce education in Florida, the goal is to be #1 by 2030. We approached the Council of Presidents that indeed OESC should be its own council and be directly reporting to the Council of Presidents. We are very excited to say that in June of 2019 Council of Presidents meeting, they approved our request. And at that time, OESC changed direct to a Council of Presidents, and which we reported directly to them. And our first official meeting took place in October 2019 in Daytona Beach. Now, what is the purpose? As I mentioned, we serve at the direction of the Council of Presidents on matters related to workforce education. And in particular, we work collaboratively with the Department of Education to support market-driven workforce education programs, meet the needs of the student, industry, and as well as be in compliance with the state and federal and local policies. So in that regard, we just make sure that we set up and facilitate communication, exchange information among ourselves. In particular, we are present at the Council of Presidents meeting every month to share with them our work, what we have done, and also for the Council of Presidents to give us the new direction as far as what is important to them that they would like the Council of Workforce Education to take charge and pursue. The Council of Instruction Affairs, I just want to let you know, these are the vice president for academic affairs for every institution, and the Council of Student Affairs are the vice presidents of the student affairs for every 28 colleges. Now, our council includes 28 voting members, one voting member from each state college. And we also used to have in the past as the OESC, just a chair like the other councils. But because of the amount of work, the importance of the work that we were asked to do, we believe that this cannot be done by one person. So we all voted to have two co-chairs to address the needs of the council. And I was the first chair of the council when it became the council. And then Dr. Coyne from Broward, who was the ex-council chair, joined us to be the co-chair. We also immediately established steering committee, includes 6 members, the voting members, who will lead the workforce-related work groups. And the council meets 3 times a year, in February, June, and October. The meeting is 3-day meeting, half a day in the afternoon of Wednesdays, all day on Thursday, which would be a joint council with the other 2 councils, and Friday morning, which would be our own separate meeting as well. So what are the work of the council? And that's where I'd like to emphasize the work we do, it will have impact on what you do, and what is your concern is very important to be brought to our attention through your representative, because your representatives are identified and recommended to council by your president. So that person, whoever that person is completely aware of what is happening. So some of you have heard that couple of years ago, the Perkins 5 was approved, and then this year was implemented. And one area that was going to have a major impact on our funding, Perkins funding, was awaiting limited access. So the Council of Workforce Education engaged with our colleagues at DOE and the Council of Academic Affairs, and we were asked at the direction of the Council of Presidents to come up with a definition for the awaiting limited access students, as well as the data element that will identify those students. Bob talked about CTE audit. The CTE audit started last year. This is an annual process. It's going to be evaluation of all of the workforce education program from college credit certificate, PSAV, and all the way through our baccalaureate degree that we offer. It looks at retention, success, placement rate, and earning. Each one of these is 10 points, total of 40. And this year, through the audit, institutions that scored below 25.34 points, they were asked to justify their those 4 areas. And indeed, if the performance is not there, then we need to submit as an institution, what is our process for improvement, or maybe we want to go ahead and sunset the program. Bob also talked about SIP to SOP on the correct curriculum frameworks. We are working very closely with our colleagues at DOE and to make sure that all of the appropriate SIPs are listed on the curriculum frameworks, not only a single one that is considered just a primary. Because if our programs are preparing students for multiple jobs, all of those SOC numbers needs to be listed on the frameworks, like several years ago that they used to do that as well. So what are we doing today? As you all probably have heard, that the reverse transfer with the AA is taking place, that any student that goes to universities and they didn't complete their AA, they can institutions claim, if you like, those students as completed once they meet the AA requirement. So it's a partnership between universities and the state colleges. We also believe, because of the state colleges are offering baccalaureate degree, and not necessarily at our own institution, but the student may go to the other institution, other colleges, that the reverse transfer for AS degrees also be considered. And our AS program at your institution should get credit as a completer, even though the student did not complete and left your college, but they did complete the requirement at the other institution. Professional licensure disclosure is very important. There is a major conversation going on as far as the licensure is concerned. And therefore, there is currently a work group is established between Council of Instructional Affairs and our council to talk about professional licensure, and also to provide our recommendation to the Department of Education. The most important work that we are going to have a conversation in as the state is equity in workforce education. We believe that it is very important, not that institution provide, for example, access to the program, but access should be to resources available by the college, access to the curriculum, access to faculty and everything. So the question we are going to have in our conversation would be why CTE programs should aim for racial equity. What are the core barriers for success of our students? And what are the opportunities to promote our work in the equity? And these work will continue on, and I will be happy to report back to you as we move forward. However, I just want to make the emphasis that the work that we do impacts the work that you do. And if there are any concerns that is very important to you at your institution, please, I can make more emphasis, connect with your person at your institution that is serving as a voting member on the council, so that person can bring it to our council, that we can express that to whether it's a legislative or whether it is the curriculum frameworks or the approval to the Department of Education. As I mentioned, we have a great partnership with both Chancellor Hepda and Chancellor Mack. And every time there are policy changes coming up, they will inform us at the co-chair, and we will bring that to our council for conversation and identifying the best practices to add this to it. So having said that, thank you for the opportunity, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Nasser. That was great. I want to echo that this was an important step for CTE programs to have a direct contact with the Council of Presidents to recommend policies and whatever to the legislature and Department of Ed. So this is a great new pathway for us, and also for kind of aligning the programs, the CTE programs, and some of the accountability measurements that are looked at now with the audit. So it's really a really good thing for us, and we're really excited to have Nasser in a leadership role there, who a member of our ET community can help us. So again, like you said, get to your.
If I may mention, Marilyn, in regard to CTE audit, for example, we are having conversation with state talking about college credit certificate. And because those are stackable within the AS degrees, should the college credit certificate be included in the CTE audit, and just have the AS degree, related AS degree, to be part of the assessment? So these conversations are happening through our council and the Department of Education.
Okay, great. And I'll ask if anyone has questions for Nasser. If you don't know who your person is at your college, of course, in this case, you could also take it to Nasser and maybe he can help.
Yeah, I'll be happy to send you the name of the person. As I mentioned, that person was suggested to the council by your president of the college.
Nasser?
Yeah, Nasser, I do have one comment to make. This is Maury Tusi from Polk State.
Hello, Mary.
I'd like to see sometime in the future, and we did talk about this a few months ago with FLATE group. I'd like to see sometime in the future that college certificates would be pretty much equal to industry certificates of the same. So if there is any competencies that industry are following and making that certification valid, and everybody is hungry in industry hiring them, giving them validation, then our certificate should be pretty much same. We are not going to ask industry to verify our certification, but we should be verifying our own certification. It should be a system that our certificate would be equal to industry certificates. And that is what I'd like to see FLATE moves in that direction. And it is a big challenge. It is a big challenge, but I believe it should be that way.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And that's why, as I mentioned, it's so important when a question or such a recommendation needs to come to our council as well as another voice to support you, not to be just the only voice, but collectively together. If we express that concern, then things will happen. I totally
Yeah,
agree.
sure. I already talked to my vice president, who's I'm under her name now today.
I know Artha. I've worked with her very closely.
Yeah, she supports that idea, and you're 100% right. If it comes from all different area, and we get the support, we get equipment that we need personal support, and then we will be able to do it. Be honest with you, look at those people who are offering these industry certifications. They are former graduates of our own program. And so if these people are able to go to industry and create these industry certification, we should be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, great.
And if I may mention, for example, it hasn't come to our council yet, but we heard that in the near future, there is a conversation that the approval for the AS programs, for example, to be very similar to the baccalaureate degree approval process. That means that what they're saying is that even though the curriculum framework exists, it is up on the approved list, but if your institution wants to offer that program, right now under the current policy, you go ahead and offer it because it's an approved framework already there. But under the new direction, you need to ask for approval and follow similar type approval model as the baccalaureate degree. So that basically, if that happens, basically means that your immediate response to your local industry would not be as robust as currently is, because those processes will take time. So these are some of the concerns that is brought to our attention, and then we will have a conversation as a statewide conversation, how to address those. Or the general education for AS programs. Some of you have heard that there was a conversation and meeting took place that all AS programs should require a GENET in all 5 categories. That may not impact the engineering technology because of the engineering technology, you will require math and possibly science. But there are a lot of programs that cannot afford to offer both math and science. That's why it currently says math or science, correct? So these are the concerns that have been brought up to our attention, and we have had conversation in the past year. And recommendation has been made and been sent to our friends at the Department of Education. So that conversation is being continued as we speak. So these are the concerns that are very important, that impacts our workforce programs, that if we come to our attention, that's very important.
All right, we need to get moving on. We're running a little behind now.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So I believe next up we have the updates from PathTech.
Yeah, that's right. So Laxmi.
Hi, everybody. Good morning.
Morning.
So happy to be here and excited to tell you about what's been happening with us over working on PathTech Listen. Will wanted me to say hello on his behalf. He's really sorry he couldn't be here today, but looking forward to the next ET Forum where he also hopes to be there in person. Just by way of a quick update, so far, as we've kind of, briefed you in the past, we've completed 2 waves of in-depth longitudinal interviews with a subsample of 95 students who were part of the original PathTech Life Survey, which included about 3,200 students nationwide a few years back. So the interviews have gone well. We are gearing up to hopefully do the 3rd wave this summer. Last year, we did our interviews during the middle of the pandemic. And so we were hoping to kind of wait until most people have gotten vaccines and, sort of life is returning to quote unquote normal to get the last update from them in the planned interviews. So that's what's happening on that front. We are very busy analyzing all that data and, trying to produce different kinds of reports about various groups of interest, and as well as overall constructing a deeper understanding of educational and occupational pathways in technician careers. So as part of that pathways interest, we have started to look more into sort of our industry component of the project. So in the beginning, our conceptualization was really to kind of do surveys with industry, with employers, to kind of better understand the kinds of skills and personnel they were looking to hire. We did some pilot surveys on this. Marilyn helped us create those questions and distribute those surveys. And one of the things that we learned, well, there were several things, but one was that, oftentimes when you contact an employer, the person who you might be in touch with might be somebody who's more of a figurehead for the company, kind of a very senior level position, or perhaps somebody in the human resources department. And you're not always getting data, collecting data from the person who's really working with new employees or, dealing with the day-to-day issues that arise and would have like a, deeper understanding of the kinds of skill sets that they really need to keep their operations going. Another issue that came up is we asked industry about, the kinds of skills, both technical skills and soft skills that they were looking for in new hires. And, really these were all skills and skill sets that are, I think well taught in our technician programs at 2-year colleges. And yet we were finding that many of them were saying that they weren't really hiring from colleges and they were looking more towards 4-year programs. So, we're trying to like make sense of some of these like disconnects and figure out, where in this pathways research we're best suited to kind of make an impact and, gain good information and data that's helpful to all of you, as well as, facilitating workforce development and the pathway between school and work. So to kind of meet that objective, we've been brainstorming a new initiative, which we are calling Hire a Graduate. Could we go to the next slide? So one of the things we'd like to do with the Hire a Graduate program, one of our main objectives, is to really inform employers about the kinds of skills that technician students at 2-year colleges are gaining, as well as the many industries in which our graduates work. And, just sort of all the different types of, career paths they're poised to take. And, to sort of help facilitate that information, we've created an infographic that we would like to share with all of you to share on your own website, social media, with your advisory committees. Hopefully they will share with their, LinkedIn groups or other listservs they're a part of. And the thing is, we wanted the graphic to be something that could be personalized to each college. So it's meaningful to you and, it really reflects what you believe your graduates offer. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so this is the infographic that we've developed. Teresa Potter on our team has been working hard on this, and a lot of the material came from Marilyn and Daniele. So thank you very much to FLATE for helping us with the substance of this infographic as well. And so what we have here is, hire a graduate, AS Engineering Technology Pathways, looking for employees with these skills. And, we have a list of technical skills, both foundational, as well as, I think these are all the foundational skills, as well as, common soft skills that are developed in our programs. And the little icons at the bottom represent the variety of industries that, our graduates work in. And so there's like ways that this infographic can be personalized to each or tailored to each program, where at the bottom you could include your point of contact, your college's name, your website, maybe if you have specific programs that you want to highlight from your college, you could, put that name of that program in at the top and really list out the skills that you think are most important. So this is created in Canva, which is a free program accessible to everyone. And, we also would like to provide some support in helping in any questions that come up and how to tailor it for your program. So to send you this Canva template for this infographic, we're asking you to fill out a survey. It should only take a few minutes. It's just to make sure we have everyone's contact information, your program name and website. We also want to get a little bit of a feel of if you're using social media, and if so, what platforms, because the Canva infographic here can be adapted to best fit these various platforms. We also would like to know a little bit about your impressions of the skills that are important to you in teaching your students, as well as, how many students you currently have, how many are completing their degrees, and, sort of the contact you have with various employers in your particular regions. So I think the survey is in the chat box. So please, take a few minutes and fill it out. It's a very short survey. And as soon as we receive it, we will be in touch with you to send you this infographic. And Teresa is on hand to help anyone who would like some assistance in really setting it up in a way that works for your program. So I'm going to stop there, and I'd love to hear your feedback, any questions you have. We're excited to kind of think about how we can use research to really, expand our understanding of these pathways, especially between colleges and industry partners and potential employers. So thank you.
Any questions? Answers, smart remarks, anything?
Goes to the end. So
okay, thanks.
One of the big problems we have is, I think, in our own communities is really having industry understand what our graduates do. Certainly, we have partners that hire our students, but there's certainly a lot more industry out there that don't really know or understand what we do in the community college technical and CPE program. So this is an effort to try to do this in the socialized media using LinkedIn and Facebook or your websites to share this with your industry partners and to try to get more communication going between some of them that may not really understand exactly what you do with a really simple kind of format and simple information out there in front of them. So please take advantage of this idea and check it out and see if we can drive some more traffic to our programs. Okay, here's some contact information. If you didn't get it, the form link is more accessible in the chat box, so I'll go there. Again, I'd like to just go back and thank our vendors who are standing by and listening in, and we'll hear from them more specifically next week for those of you who will be here. So once again, thanks everyone for supporting the Engineering Technology Forum. And this slide has a few announcements and some of the links that we've shared so far. Remember the Google Drive, where all of these resources will be housed permanently from the ET Forum. We do have another Tech Talk session coming up in April. This one will be on OSHA for manufacturing. There's a higher grad contact, the National Center for Supply Chain Automation, which is related to our national center that's focused on the program that they're offering now at Valencia College in the Osceola campus with Kevin Curley. It's having a symposium next month that's free. Their automation technologies are just what we do in advanced manufacturing, so you might want to check that out. The High Tech Conference this year will be virtual. There's a link to submit a session. You can read more about that online. And Florida Make More Summit. It's going to be in 4 segments, also virtual this year. Most importantly, the talent development session is in June, and we'll have our FLATE Awards, education awards given out at that event. So there's a link to get more information and to register. There is a discount with the FLATE using for the FLATE code. So I think Danielle is posting that, attaching that to the slide with these links, just this one slide on the.
I am posting the links to each of the events, and somehow the chat doesn't let me to share any file for security reasons. I have no idea why.
Well, I'll try to do it in the end. So I'll let you close out, Sam. Remember next week we have.
And if you haven't registered for next week, please do so. I think Brad sent out a reminder for everyone this last week, and want to make sure that if you can make the next one, it would be great to have you there as well. Some of you I know are on spring break. We had a few this week that were on spring break that weren't able to make it, but it would be real important if you were there, just so you can see what's going on and continue the hard work we're trying to do here.
Yeah, we'll try to cycle back on the MSSC conversation.
Correct.
Get some input from the group to see where we can go. There's always a movement between questions between the 12 credits and 15 credits. What should we do? Conversations and justification for that are, there's some on both sides. So it's always a challenge to get through that. But we will try to get some time to continue the conversation now that we have all the details from the Department of Education. Next time.
Yeah, Marilyn?
Yeah.
I was talking to Dr. Norden, Orsai Norden, and I asked her to participate in our industry relations panel discussion next week. Okay. And she agreed. She just sent me an email. She said she would be there. If you don't mind to modifying that list and add her name to it.
Okay.
Because she's pretty expert in Perkins. Okay. And part of our conversation is going to be Perkins related. and it's good to have it over there.
Okay, I can do that. All right, so next time we are going to have a session with Chancellor Mack and Kevin Carr. This one will be focused on strategic plans and next steps for FLATE in the future. What can FLATE look like? What can we do to support engineering, technology, and other disciplines maybe that support the manufacturing sector in the state? And of course, there'll be some other presentations next week as well. I think we all have the agenda. We'll modify it a little to make sure we have that. We do have an industry panel. We'll be focused on advisory committees as well next time. So please stay tuned for that. And I'm just now getting to the point where I can upload that file. Let's see. I'll take on the PowerPoint file. Oh, it's blocked for security reasons. All right, well, I guess we'll email it out.
Right. All right, Marilyn, you're 4 minutes over.
Okay, sorry.
All right.
Have a
You
great
guys,
week.
thanks again to the vendors, and thanks to everyone for coming in and showing up, and hope to see you guys next week. And for those of you going on spring break, enjoy your time off. And those of you coming back, I feel for you.